What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday to you. My name is Will Johnson, and we are in the Culture Wars. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Friday. If you haven't already, could you please bless us by hitting that thumbs up? I would greatly appreciate it. Let's go. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Splc. We all know that one of their top people in the Splc was just recently arrested here, and I've yet to talk about her. I haven't talked about it as of yet. I just want to talk a little bit about it today. Because, see, the whole thing with the Splc has been this movement for them to claim that, oh, my goodness, we have this major problem of white supremacy in America. Major problem of white supremacy. Oh, my goodness, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And, of course, the lunatic liberals on the left, none of them have said anything. Now, look, maybe they have. Full transparency here. Maybe they have said something and I just missed it. Maybe the lunatic left has come out and said, yeah, we're not going to support the Splc any longer. They've gone too far. Maybe they have, but I haven't seen it. If you've seen it, let me know in the comments. Yeah, Will Johnson, you're late to the game. Of course that MSDNC and the Communist News Network, CNN, both of them have said something about the Splc lying to the American people, and they're no longer supporting them. More likely not going to happen, right? Because I look at this stuff all day long. And if they said something, I'm pretty sure that I would have seen it because it would have gone viral, right? Now, again, with that being said, maybe I just didn't see it because of the algorithms. I don't know. You let me know if you've seen it because I really want to see it. But anyways, let me share with you the lady. Well, I think it's the lady. You never know. Hey, we're talking about those on the left. I don't know. Is it an actual lady? I don't think that even came up because she was dating one of the, supposedly, allegedly, one of the things that I heard is that she was actually dating one of the ones that they were funneling money to be a white supremacist. I'm like, what? So let's get this straight. The SPLC constantly saying that they're out there fighting against the whole white supremacy and these hate groups when they were funding the hate groups all this time, and this person, be it male or female, was dating one of them that they were sending them money to. Until you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. I mean, is it comical? It's really not, but I mean, it is at the same time. And so I want to know what MSDNC is going to say about it. I mean, have they said anything? Look, it's been enough time for this story to be out there for them to report on it. I mean, what about the politicians when they were up on Capitol Hill talking to SPLC? Remember, you had Cory Booker and you had some of the other predominant Democrats. They were defending the SPLC, trying to say, oh, my goodness, this is political. President Trump and his administration just going after the SPLC because they are trying to stop the MAGA Republicans, basically, because they call us all white supremacists, you know. They said my red MAGA hat just replaced the other hat with the cone. Really? Really? Because this one represents freedom for everybody. Everybody. But the left, they have a different point of view about it. Well, let me play this video of this person. And again, to my understanding, you know, they say it's a woman. But, I mean, you tell me. You tell me. What do you think? Think it's a woman? I don't know. I guess really not important.
The number of hate groups has been increasing pretty rapidly and frighteningly really since 2000. So in the 1990s, the number of hate groups sort of bounced around 450, a little up, a little down every year. And then in 2000, we started to see a sustained rise, which ultimately led to a doubling of groups. And what's interesting about this is that The year 2000 is the year that the Census Bureau told Americans that white people would become a minority in the future in 2042. And a lot of hate groups all of a sudden started to, begin to recruit. White supremacists commit far more acts of domestic terrorism in the United States.
Really? Really? Because as long as I've lived in the United States of America, my age, I was born in 71, for those of you that don't know, I haven't seen it. And not to say that it hasn't happened, because it has happened. They were paying for it. They did this whole production talking about what they were paying for. Not only did they pay for the advertisement of it, they were paying for it to happen. It's almost like hiring firemen that are arsonists. They know that they're arsonists. Oh, come on. We're gonna hire you. Make sure you go out there and do it, because if there's no fires, we can't keep you around. So they hired people, or they were paying people to make sure that there was always a fire, right? So of course this is going to be out there. They can't do the video if the hate groups aren't out there actually doing something.
Than radical Islamists, for example.
Oh.
These groups have seen their numbers increase, particularly since Donald Trump started campaigning. There are other organizations that call themselves the alt-right that literally didn't exist 2 years ago. And a lot of the ferment and activity, the protests, the rallies and whatnot are circulated around the alt-right groups right now. In particular, groups that attach themselves directly to Donald Trump's campaign have seen their ranks grow. So we've got a hate problem larger than we've ever had.
And this right there, the tiki torches. So it came out that the SPLC was the one actually paying for what you see there on the screen. They were the ones paying for it. Millions of dollars went into them trying to create this hate group, blatantly trying to say, oh my goodness, the United States of America is just, it's so racist, so racist, so racist. But yet they were trying to import millions of people to a racist country that they were calling racist. How does that work? But again, I've yet to see any of the liberal media actually report about this information, about the SPLC getting called out for all of the stuff that they've been doing, right? Here's another one. Now, look, I don't know. Maybe this is a man. I don't know. Y'all help me out here. Not that it's really important, because it's really not. I don't really care. I just find it odd.
Their views, I think white supremacy is, one of the worst things mankind has come up with.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can have a direct impact.
It's one of the, I guess you did have a direct impact. I guess this person did have a direct impact. They were paying for it. Where it did not exist, they were paying for it, making sure that it was there, because they got people throughout the country, if not the world even. I don't know. Did other countries donate to the SPLC? That's a question I would like to know. But they had all of these people donated to the SPLC because we have to combat racism. We have to combat the white supremacy. We got to stop it. Got to stop it. And of course, they label President Trump the leader of the white supremacy. Anybody like me with a MAGA hat on said I'm a white supremacy sympathizer, supporter, everything else. And it was all a lie. See, I already knew it was a lie. That's the reason why I wear my MAGA hat. And I wear my MAGA hat, and the radical leftist lunatic liberals, they can't stand to see it. They can't stand to see it because I'm supposed to believe the lying stuff that they're saying. But listen to this. Listen to this.
Their views, I think white supremacy is, one of the worst things mankind has come up with. Well, I can have a direct impact on these movements. And just in the first year I was there, we did some very good work, myself and my colleagues, exposing anti-immigrant networks in the United States, some of which are still functioning today.
Really? They're still functioning today? Are they still functioning now that the money's been stopped? At least I hope the money's been stopped, right? The SPLC should be shut down. Let me go look really quick. SPLC. Is the website still up? Yep, the website's still up. Now they're just showing a building. Protecting the land and legacy. Okay, I guess now they're going to talk about the indigenous people. right? I guess that's what they're going to talk about here. But the website is still up. The SPLC website is still up. It is a total fraudulent organization. The left, they were taking information from the SPLC and they were labeling people as a hate group, and the media even ran with it. Any money that the media received from the SPLC to run ads or anything, any association at all, they should be penalized for it because they knew better. They knew exactly what was happening here. All of these politicians that was pushing this nonsense about white people being the major problem in the country. This is nothing new. I constantly talked about it. We're still talking about it. And the reason why I'm talking about it, because this is what the left is starting to aim to. Now the reason being, because now you have this Islamophobic, right? You have this Islamophobic going on. I'm not afraid of the Islamists. I believe in the true living God. I'm not afraid of them. So there's no phobia here. I have no phobia against anybody. If a big spider jump on me, I'm going to have a little arachnophobia. You know, I mean, I think everybody will experience that little big old spider jump on you. But I have no phobia of these people out there living in these alternate lifestyles. I can care less. See, they try to say that we're afraid of it, kind of, oh, you don't understand, so you must be afraid. They brought up that label, kind of like the label that they brought up with it. What is it? Cis man and cis woman. I don't go by those labels. They made up those stupid labels. I'm not going to comply with that. I am a straight up man, an alpha male. Have no issues with being a man. I like being a man. And I like that women are women. Is that a bad thing? Oh my goodness, Will Johnson, what are you saying? I can see that's how they acting. I can't believe he just said that. He likes being a man. How dare he? Stupid liberals. You know, they make it that way. But you know what? She wasn't the only one that was constantly talking about white supremacy, trying to label white people as bad thing. You even have some people that are married to white people. Don Lemon, right? Don Lemon's married. He is married to a white man. And he talks bad about white people. You know who else does? I mean, it's all of them. Well, Ilhan Omar, she was with a white man. She talked bad about white people, right? All of these white supremacists. You know who else? Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is married to a white man, and she talks bad about white people.
That part of the pain of this moment, Stacey, is these so-called leaders who are pushing this kind of this narrative about who is a legitimate American citizen.
I can answer that. If you're born in the United States of America, you're a legitimate American citizen. That's what's on the law books right now. That's what's been pushed. But if you are an anchor baby, you're trying to have a baby coming outside of the country, and you just come here and spit out the baby just so the baby can get a social security card and have the birth certificate saying born in America, so that way you can take them back to China.
Crooked Joe Biden. China.
Y'all like that? Take them back
China.
And just so they can come back and rule the country. That's the objective that they want to do. But listen.
Among American citizens. Yeah. This blood and soil narrative that's being pushed at the highest levels of our government to suggest that, you know, once again, to hearken back to times when it was explicit that there was a hierarchy among Americans and who was superior and whom was inferior, all citizens. And that's what's happening right now.
I think someone's on that oil. There is still a hierarchy in the country. We've created that. There's no way around that. Now, of course, when we go to the ballot box, we're all equal American citizens, but there's still a hierarchy. We have the president of the United States. We have the politicians. With the politicians act like they're kings and queens over all of us. They get security when we don't. So there's still a hierarchy in this country. There's a hierarchy in a business. See, she's a total socialist. They don't want people to own businesses. They want the public to own the business. They want the government to own the business. So that they're trying to eliminate it. There's always going to be a hierarchy. There's a hierarchy when it comes to God. They want to eliminate that. You understand? This is the whole socialism movement. Has anyone ever thought about that? There's a hierarchy with God. Come on now. That's just the way things are. But her whole point is trying to say that, oh, white people and black people don't have anything. And there's always the white Democrats that did it. But of course, they leave that key detail out because they don't want people to actually know the truth about it all. And as I mentioned a second ago, Ilhan Omar, married to a white man. Hello? You know who else? Hung. I should have got a video on her. I should have got the post where she said that she's married to Hung out of, was it Wisconsin? She lost she was a gubernatorial for the governorship. She's the candidate running, and she lost because AOC and Bernie Sanders did not endorse her. She lost to a less crazy socialist. But anyways, she's married to a white man, and she says and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember exactly how she said it. She says she's pretty much disdained the whiteness in her son. Are you kidding me? So imagine that little boy growing up, and he gets wind that his mother said that about him, that he can't stand the whiteness in him because his father's white. So essentially, she's telling him to reject his father and be upset with him because his father's white. She married the man. How stupid these liberals are. But again, AOC. Ilhan Omar, another one.
And so the idea that this is a white nation that needs to be preserved is a fascinatingly disgusting view because this country is one for the many.
I don't care how you look at it or how you feel about it. The United States of America is a white nation. Now, does that mean it only consists of white people? No. Can we be honest here? Can we be real about this? When I lived in Germany, my father was in the military. He served in the military for over 20 years. When I lived in Germany, of course, I was born in America. I'm living in Germany. But even the Germans looked at America as a white nation. The Turkish that were there, the Africans that were there, the Filipinos that were there, the other nationalities that were there, they all looked at America as a white nation, and they looked at it as a great nation. The United States of America, by the grace of God, was formed by white men doing the will of our Father in heaven. They were white men. They did the Declaration of Independence. And every nation on the planet marvels after the United States of America. I don't care what nation it is. They all marvel after the United States of America. Why do you think that they work so hard to take down the United States of America? There can only be one at the top. There can only be one at the top. And I have no issues with it. The United States of America is the greatest nation. The United States of America, they said it was like an idea. It was a challenge because they got away from all the kings and the dictators and the ideas of socialism. Socialism just is not anything new. They got away from all of those and they said, let's try something that we have seen worked, and prevent socialists from taking over. After 250 years, people, they have kept socialism at a bay. 250 years. So the socialists, instead of them continuously trying to fight their way in and be a third party, they've just taken over the socialist Democrat Party. I mean, they've always been socialists, right? But they're out in the open with it now. It was the greatest experiment known to man. The United States of America, a capitalist nation, created by what? What? Let me hear you. Let me hear you. Be honest. White men. White men. And they have a problem with it. They don't want anybody to know it. They want to try to deflect from it all. And every time I talk about that, and I've talked to people on the street about it, oh, you're trying to be white. Oh, I can't, you know what? I've had people tell me that I'm trying to be white more than I've called them Democrats. And I've said Democrats. How often? How often have I said that? The word Democrats? And I'm asking y'all, how come y'all don't call them Democrats too? It should be, you know what? That one phrase should be viral. And it's not even something that I made up. But Democrats should be everywhere. Every time somebody says anything about these Democrats, they should say Democrats. I mean, really. But I've been told that.
And you ain't black.
Can y'all hear that?
And you ain't black.
I've been told that so much. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, I'm not black, or I'm trying to be white. I'm like, wow, really? What makes them think that I'm trying to be white? I don't even know how to be a color. Are they suggesting being black is like acting ignorant? I mean, what is it? I mean, because if I hold myself up with dignity, if I treat others with respect, am I trying to be right? I'm sorry, trying to be white? Or if I'm trying to be right, I've actually had people, because I've told the truth about something, oh, you're trying to be white. The ignorance, the level of stupidity.
And you ain't black.
You can't make it up. Can't make it up. All right, I want to show you another one with Kamala Harris when she was on here with Stacey Abrams. And both of them, wrong one. And both of them are losers. Both of them are losers.
And I know you've been spending a lot of time in the South recently.
Yeah.
You've been to Tennessee and Louisiana and North Carolina.
Yeah.
And what I tell people when they want to understand what authoritarianism can look like in the U.S., I say, look south. We have lived under soft authoritarianism, I would say, since 1776.
Really? So let's get this straight. 1776, when we became an independent nation, that's what 1776 is all about. We got away from dictatorships. We got away from the kings and the queens. We got away from that. We became our own nation. 1776 will commence again. Have you heard that before? So ever since we became free, according to these idiots, we've been under authoritarianism. See, this is why you can't even have a rational conversation with liberals, because they don't know the history. Where did she get the idea that 1776, which made this nation free from the kings, is authoritarianism? It's the opposite of a dictator. It's the opposite of communism. It's the opposite of socialism. But they're calling this freedom that we have, the freedom that they can sit on a panel and go in there and just blatantly lie to everybody. They're calling that authoritarianism. If that was the case, her ignorant tail wouldn't be able to say what she's saying. If we were all living under authoritarianism right now, under President Trump's rule, and then President Trump was actually being the dictator, saying that, hey, if you don't love America, you're out, regardless if you're an American citizen or not. Got to get out the country. Kind of with that just a little bit, you know. But the freedoms that we have in this country, you don't have to like America. You don't have to love America. That's just the way it is, because we have a constitution. Now, these idiots, they want to eliminate the constitution because they believe that we should not have access to the freedoms that we have. You know, it's the radical socialist, demonic, democrat left that wants to censor everybody. They censored President Trump his first term. They still want to censor all of us. They're so upset right now with Elon Musk because he's allowing free speech to take place. And what's happening, it caused Instagram and the other one, Threads, and even on YouTube to some extent. They're allowing people to say certain things where they were just cutting people off left and right. If you went onto these other platforms and you just alluded to the truth, I mean, a man's a man, they were coming after you. There's been cases where people were saying, no, this is a man. And they were going, you're putting out disinformation. When in reality, it is a straight up man. They were censoring everybody, but that's the left. That's the stinking left. We see it all the time. But you know what? The Democrats, as I've mentioned ever since the whole socialist thing came up and how the socialists are taking over the Democrats, they're starting to lose control. They're blatantly losing, they're actively losing more and more control over their party. And one thing that y'all probably heard me say multiple times is that the Socialist Democrat, DSA, the Socialist Democrat Party of America, the Democrats are exactly the same. They just don't like the fact that these open socialists are saying what they're saying out in the open, like Hassan Piker. They don't like it because it's going to turn off a lot of people. That's the only concern. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, because the Democrats are even admitting here on the Communist News Network that the ideology of the Democrat Party is no different than what the socialists are telling everybody. They actually said it here on CNN. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the voters want change, right? That's what they're saying. They want an end to the status quo. This is a rebellion against the status quo. And it's not necessarily change in terms of ideology. I mean, the DSA is winning some primaries because they're showing more change.
You see, there's really no change in the ideology between the Democrats and the Democrat socialists. There's no change. It's the same thing. It's just one saying it out loud. Listen to them.
Winning some primaries because they're showing more change and representing more change. But, sometimes it's been a change in terms of, how long have you been there? Have you been there too long? Change in terms of, are you fighting against the Trump administration enough, right? And so I think it is a change, but it's a change not necessarily in the ideological spectrum as much as it is style and wanting to be more of a, against the President Trump and his administration.
And that's what it really comes down to. We don't care if you're a communist, an atheist, a Satanist, Islamist, as long as you are against President Trump, aka America. They don't care. I mean, he just said it. I didn't force him to say any of that. Most people hear what he's saying and go, yeah, we just hate Trump. We just hate Trump. They all got this, they're all on the same path. Hate Trump no matter what. That's all that matters to them. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. These people are sick. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Remember when you were younger and you used to hear stories, whether it be in Greek mythology or whatever, about the fountain of youth, people constantly looking for something out there that would help them live forever or live longer? Well, kind of got something like that with Fatty 15, and it's not mythological. No, Fatty 15, this is an empty jar right here, but that's your size that you get. That's a 1 month supply. You get a 3 month supply on this deal. Fatty 15 contains something called C15. If you don't know what that is, it's an essential fatty acid that is necessary for your body's cellular generation, meaning that if you have any damaged cells, it will repair them. It'll also change the way your cells age and you will live longer. C15 does exactly that. Again, if you don't know what C15 is, definitely do some research, but it's Fatty 15, and in each and every one of these capsules that you get in Fatty 15, you're going to elevate your cells, you are going to repair your cells, and you're going to live longer. That's what it does. It slows down your aging process for healthier hair, healthier skin, balanced metabolism, deeper sleep, and 3 times more cellular benefits than omega-3 fish oils. Fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. Save 15% now. That's fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. Thank you very much. Back to the program.
Our response to socialism, which is a dangerous and destructive ideology that's been tried in the past and failed, our response to that can't be just to ignore the economic concerns that I think are feeding this rising interest in socialism. And I guess I would say to that young person that you as an American citizen deserve to have a good life in this country, and you deserve to have a government that is making it easier for you to start a family, for you to afford to get a good education, for you to have a good job, for you to afford a home. And what I would also say is that while these things sometimes take a little bit of time, we are already seeing the positive results come from the president's economic policies. We're seeing trillions of dollars of new investment into this country, which means good middle-class jobs for young people, middle-income people all across our country. We're seeing housing prices finally stabilize. They doubled during the Biden administration. They have finally kind of flatlined during the first year and a half of the Trump administration. We also want to get interest rates down, of course, so that young people can afford a home. We want people to be able to afford the good things about this wonderful country that we all live in. And my warning to my fellow Republicans, would be, if we don't get this right, don't blame young people for being sympathetic to socialism. We've got to blame ourselves. And I think what is so unique and refreshing about Donald Trump's economic policies is that it's not the same old economic, ideas that you would have heard 30, 40 years ago. He's talking about rebuilding our industrial base, rebuilding the heartland, making our streets safer, making it possible for young people to afford to buy a home. This is how you stop socialism. You don't stop socialism by throwing slogans at people about the free market. As much as I love the free market, you stop socialism by making people's lives better. And that's what we're trying to do every single day.
I completely agree. We have to do that. That's what it takes. That's what we have to do. And yeah, like I did that. Socialism is evil and it is not for America. Why do you think the radical leftist lunatics are pushing it so hard? Why do you think they're pushing it? I've been mentioning it for over the week. 2 weeks now, how within inside of the Democrat Party there's a full-on civil war because they're trying to figure out how to proceed, how to move forward, because they're totally collapsing. They don't have any money. The DSA is taking advantage of the Democrats being down. The establishment, they're taking advantage of them being down. Remember how they said, well, when they go low, you go high? Well, actually, the establishment Democrats are down low and the socialists are kicking them. What did they say? What did they say? Choke them out? Because that's what El-Sayed said, choke them out. When they go low, choke them out. They're broke. And the socialists are choking them out. They're doing exactly what they said. When they tell you they're going to do something and it's not benefiting the American people, believe them. They're not hiding who they are. Believe them. Listen to David Hogg. David Hogg is talking about Graham Plattner. And Graham Plattner, apparently there's some kind of event that's going to be taking place in Maine, and Graham Plattner was supposedly designated as one of the speakers. And David Hogg is saying, do not allow him to be there, like he's coming on this comeback tour. Now, David Hogg is saying that Graham Plattner needs to apologize for his interaction with the women that he was involved with. Not apologize for the Nazi tattoo, mind you. Not apologize for being happy of being a Nazi supporter or trying to be a Nazi himself. Don't apologize for that, but apologize for the women, which he should apologize for that. But that's the only thing they want him to apologize for.
Help you?
No.
It doesn't. And Graham should not be going on any form of comeback tour if that's what he's trying to make this. He needs to go on an apology tour, if anything. He needs to apologize to the victims of his behavior, and he needs to apologize to those people that he's clearly lied to. And it's really unfortunate because there are a lot of people that clearly believed in the campaign and have been massively, let down, obviously, by his behavior. And I'm glad that he dropped out, obviously, but this is not what he should be doing.
Yeah. I mean,
did Graham Plattner drop out, or was he boot? Did he get the boot? Of course he got kicked out. He didn't want to drop out. The people in Maine voted for the Nazi tattoo. They all knew about it and they still voted for him. So they wanted him, but it was the establishment. They said, well, this is just going to be too much. You're going to do too much. And Bernie Sanders at the very last minute had to withdraw his endorsement. He withdrew his endorsement from Graham Plattner at the last minute, saying, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. But he received pressure saying you're going to have to do it in order for him to drop out, because until you say something, he's not going to. And sure enough, after he did it, that's when he fell from the wayside. Graham Plattner is a prime example of what the Democrat Party is all about. And the only reason why, now, they could have known that he did all these things with these different women, but they would have given it a pass if they had never said anything. Same thing with Eric Swalwell. They knew for years of Eric Swalwell extramarital activity. They knew about it. They knew about Yum Yum, Fang Fang. They knew he was even with the Chinese spy. They had no issues with it. Until they decided that he was going to be the downfall, you got to go. El Sayed. Did y'all see the video Jeremy was playing earlier on LFATV.com/LFATV? Rumble.com/LFATV. Did you see what they were talking about? El Sayed. I see them kind of gearing the same thing up. Is El Sayed going to lose the seat for us? I can see how the Democrats are saying, well, do we need to replace him before it's too late? And I don't know, is it too late for them to replace him right now? Is it too late? Maybe it is. I don't know. But in Texas, Democrats are not going to replace James Tallarico. In Texas, James Tallarico supposedly is beating out Ken Paxton for the Senate race here in the state of Texas, which I don't believe it. The pollsters have been telling everybody what they want them to believe. We've been seeing this constantly. And there's a lot of people upset with the pollsters. I never trusted the pollsters, especially when they did these exit polls. When people exiting from voting, who did you vote for? Who did you vote for? Who did you vote for? How do we know the people writing that information down, passing it on to the liberal media news, they're not lying? You ever play that game where you tell one person in their ear, and then you tell the next person in their ear, and then it goes to the next person and the next person, and about time it comes back around to you, it's something completely different? Has that ever happened to you? You ever play that game? That's exactly what I believe happened with these pollsters. Pollsters, in my personal opinion, all they are, their only purpose is to do election interference. That's it. That's it. Because apparently, at some cases in the past, they've gone with the exit poll. Oh, well, based on the exit poll, this is the outcome. And they've gone with that information instead of actually waiting until all the information comes in. So I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. But James Tallarico, this dude is the epitome of evil. This dude wants everybody to believe that he is a Christian when he's not. James Tallarico is not a Christian. James Tallarico is a Satanist, antichrist spirit of a person. Listen to what he says about the Holy Bible. He's actually calling the Bible God's word. He's actually saying the scripture, what you see here. He's saying the scripture, our Holy Bible. He's calling this propaganda. He's calling this propaganda. And I sent the video to someone that attends my church. He's total liberal. And I was asking him, I said, he attends my church, total liberal, which I don't understand it. I really don't. How Democrats why they even go to church. And I said, what do you think about this? Because he supports James Tallarico over Ken Paxton. Well, Ken Paxton has a lot of dirt. Ken Paxton is this, he did that and did this. But he gives James Tallarico a pass. Non-binary, God being non-binary, 6 genders. He loves transgender children more than anything in the world. I sent this video to him, and there's no response from him at all. Like, he don't want to even say it. Now, he's quick to say something about everything, but he was not responding to this. And he's going to probably come back, oh, I just been busy. I've been busy. Really? I mean, I guess I wouldn't want to respond to this either if I was calling myself a Christian and this is the person that you're supporting. Listen.
One is maybe the most insidious. It was a new state curriculum that would teach Christian Bible stories as historical fact, as the only truth to our youngest students. And I mean kindergarten, first graders. These are kids who aren't able to think for themselves yet. They haven't formed their own worldviews. And to push propaganda, to push indoctrination on those youngest students is deeply immoral.
Dude is a Satanist. He's saying pushing or sharing God's word with children, he's calling that pushing God's word onto them, indoctrinating them with propaganda. What? If you are in Texas and you call yourself a Christian and you are supporting this heathen, you are not a true Christian. You are one of these fake Antichrist Christians. This dude is evil. How could you go along with this crap? I can tell you firsthand that God's word is the true living word of God. The true living word of God. Dude is evil. And I encourage, show me how he's not evil. James Tallarico, he has the spirit of the Antichrist. He's just like Satan, where Satan comes into the world and wants people to believe that he's an angel of the angel of the light. Right? He comes into the world and have everyone believe that he is right. I mean, this dude actually said that the Bible is pushing propaganda on the children. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Dude is 100% evil. Dude is 100% evil. And at this point, I can't stand him. And actually, if it's true, James Tallarico just might be in trouble. And if this is true, the Democrats are going to do everything they can to prevent people from knowing about this. They're probably going to do lawsuits and try to say, well, you can't pursue this of James Tallarico because it is election season. What am I talking about? Allegedly, James Tallarico was using his parents' address and voting in a different district, trying to portray that he was living in that district when he was actually living someplace else. That is unlawful. You can't do it. You're not supposed to do it. Well, Ken Paxton was asked about that very thing. Listen.
So, Attorney General, your opponent, James Tallarico, making headlines as of late, accused of voting in 5 elections using his parents' address after buying his own home nearby. Here's what he had to say.
This is Ken Paxton's playbook. It is not rooted in fact.
So are you saying that you did not use your parents' address in those 5 elections?
I'm saying I followed all of our election laws in Texas and did not commit voter fraud.
So he's not saying that he didn't use his parents' address. He's not saying that at all. Did y'all catch it? Did you catch it? Let me take it back just a little bit here. Because he's not denying that's what he did, but he said, I just followed the law. Well, if they're asking him, did he do this? That's not lawful. It's not him following the law.
So are you saying that you did not use your parents' address in those 5 elections?
I'm saying I followed all of our election laws in Texas and did not commit voter fraud.
Now, I'm assuming you're aware of this. Are you looking into these claims?
Well, look, this is up to other people to investigate, but it is questionable that he registered with his parents and then he ran actually in a different district. You're supposed to live in a district at least 12 months before you run. And he clearly moved into his parents' house after that 12-month period and filed in a different district. And then also, as has been suggested, voted there when he was likely living somewhere else.
Uh-oh. If it's true, I'm surprised. You know what? If it's true and it comes out, I can see Jasmine Crackpot saying, put my name back on there. Put me back on there. This was wrong what he did. Where's Jasmine Crackpot at right now? I want to get a statement for her on this. Wouldn't you like to hear what she has to say about this? And again, they're going to, if it is true, they're going to pour so much money into this to make it go away. Because for them, they see that they have to win this seat by any means necessary. We don't care that he did something wrong. We have to win the seat by any means necessary. Because that's who they are. In other news, here in the state of Texas, once again, DFW Airport, they're actually putting in, I'm calling them modern day urinals. This is what I'm calling them. I call them modern day urinals. Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, let me show you what these modern day urinals are that they're installing in DFW. You can't make it up.
Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport is moving forward with Islamic foot washing stations inside its bathrooms. The privately funded $300,000 project will install special wudu ablution stations for both men and women in Terminal D. Similar stations already exist at other major U.S. airports like Chicago O'Hare. The installation is expected to be completed by the end of the year.
See, what I see, modern day urinals. Am I being bad for saying that? Why are we doing this? The problem with this, the problem I see with this is that once you start pushing out American customs and you start adopting everything else outside of America, they're slowly flipping the country right under our noses. Right under our noses. So is it bad for me to say that, oh, all I see is a modern day urinal? Is it bad? Let's go to the chat and see. How many of you dislike that? Anybody? How dare you, Will Johnson? How dare you? You know, if you went to their country and you tried to, let's say, celebrate Christmas, put up your shops, have the Christmas tree and the lights and say Christ is King, and you do that, and they'll burn it down. There will be no designated location for you to celebrate Christ at all. Christmas, Easter, the resurrection, nowhere. But here we're making accommodations. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? These people, when you come to the United States of America, if you come lawfully and you make it to where you can stay in the United States of America, the whole point is assimilate. Assimilate. Don't come in here and try to change our culture, try to change our nation. You assimilate. You go along with the way we've created. We like the way it is. And I'm not being hateful. Again, if we went to their country, it would not be allowed. Our traditions, no, you can't do that here. But the reason why it's allowed here is because they're utilizing it against us, our Constitution. And the stupid liberals, that's the only time they like the Constitution, when it can be utilized against those of us that are actual Americans. That's the only time they favor the Constitution at all. Other than that, they can care less about the Constitution. For them, it is a out-of-date document. Do away with it. And they're willing to even bring in the Sharia law. They're even willing to change it with the Sharia law if they get their choice, because they hate the Constitution that much. So apparently in Dearborn, Michigan, there's an event that's going to be taking place. And listen to the police chief, where he's talking about, because they're going to have this event and they're saying that they're expecting people who are against the Islamists taking over. And this idiot, I don't know if he changed his name or if he just if he was born like this. I don't know. I'm suspecting that he possibly changed his name. I don't know. Really not important. Here's another example of the Islamists coming into our country and changing it. Listen.
I'm Chief Issa Shaheen, and we're aware that individuals and groups from outside our community may come to the Dearborn City Council meeting on Tuesday, August 18th. We've been monitoring the situation closely and coordinating with our state and federal partners. We have a plan in place, and you'll see an enhanced presence of police officers. But here's my direct ask of our residents. Please stay home. These groups that are coming here are coming for one reason, and that's to provoke a reaction and generate attention. If nobody shows up to react, they have nothing. The most powerful thing that this community can do is refuse to give them an audience. If you have business before council, you're welcome, and you'll be safe. We'll make sure of it. But if you're thinking about coming down just to confront these people, don't. That's exactly what they want, and it puts you at risk. Let our officers do their job. Don't let a handful of hateful outsiders define who we are. Dearborn is stronger than this. Thank you.
Don't let hateful outsiders define who we are. It's not an Islamist country. And they're not hateful because they don't want Islam here. They don't want what comes with it. Communism. That's the reason why these socialists are acting the way they're acting right now, because they have the backing of the Islamist State. They have the backing. And I think I might be the only one, who's really made the connection with the Islamists and the socialists. I meant to get it. I actually, I got a screenshot of it where it shows the similarities of socialism and Islam. And there's quite a few. They all come like they're doing something really positive, like they want to make sure they take care of people. They want to take control over businesses and allow the government or the public to decide. No more ownership. They get to decide who owns what. There's no difference between Islam and these socialists, which all of it leads to communism. Are y'all tired of hearing about the socialists? I mean, I'm tired of talking about them. Is it going to go away if we stop talking about it? No, it's going to get worse. It's almost like saying it's raining. It's been raining for 40 days. Just stop talking about the rain. Maybe it'll stop raining. At some point, it will stop raining. At some point, the socialists will realize that the United States of America is always going to remain a capitalist free nation. They don't want it. And we have to do our part to keep it. I don't know if you agree with me or not. That's fine if you don't. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do all that I can to keep our nation free. I would rather die as a free man than to live in bondage. You understand that? Now, I'm not talking about going out being violent towards anybody else. I'm just telling you that I would rather die as a free man than to live in bondage under a socialist, Islamic, communist agenda that the left is pushing onto our country right now. And it's that 100%. We need to be more concerned about our children, because if they're successful, our children are going to get the whirlwind. They're going to be the ones that's going to be being tormented because we did not do our part. It's going to be our children and our grandchildren. And see, they're playing the long game. They know right now if they get the Democrat Party and they collapse the Democrat Party and then they bring the Democrat Party back up as full-on socialism, and everybody else is like the alternative to the Republican, the MAGA Republican, is the complete socialist agenda. Right now, they're fighting the establishment within inside of the Democrat Party. There's still that going on, but a lot of them are starting to cave. A lot of them are starting to cave. That's why I said they might possibly remove El Sayed. Unless it's too late, right? They may have a time period like they had in Maine, because they just had theirs. I don't know if there's a time period. I should go look it up. I think I will. Go look it up to see if there's a time period for them to, if they need to, for any reason, to make a last minute change. Because what is his name? Richard, I believe. Richardson. Don't hold me to it. They said that he's actually way up in the polls in Michigan, of all places. They're Republican. So they're starting to panic. And all they're going to do is bring out some extra dirt on him and say, you got to go. I'm pretty sure they're looking for some women right now, because that's their go-to thing. Women, women, women. They probably should just run a Craigslist ad and just get some women to lie about them. Hashtag believe the woman. Right? Hashtag believe the woman. All right, everybody. That is it for me. Kevin Smith, Loud Majorities, coming up next right here on LFA TV. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go anywhere. But for everybody who's watching it everywhere else, rumble.com/LFA TV. Rumble.com/LFA TV. Make sure you show up. Make sure you show up.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
I hear it all the time. I hear it all the time.
And you ain't black.
And you ain't black. You ain't black. Oh, is it supposed to hurt my feelings? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But stupid liberals don't know that. God bless everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you Monday in the Culture War.